All right. Hi. Selamat malam. Good evening. Thank you for being here. So, I'm sorry. The most Indonesian thing about me is my name, but besides that, my bahasa is very bad. So, so please bear with me. But if you do have any questions in bahasa, we have a few of my teammates and colleagues are here on the call. So we have Tara and Adis who are based in Indonesia in Jakarta. So for any questions or clarifications that my foreign tongue cannot answer. So please direct it to them. Again, thank you so much for being here uh, on a festive season during a festive season on a call. So my name is Aditya, and I'm just going to give a brief introduction while we wait for maybe a few more minutes before everyone else comes in for the call. So my
Okay,
name is Aditya.
David, bro, maybe Devin want to start about iCommunity first.
Yeah, sure. Please. Excuse me. I thought you wanted me to take it.
So Devin still nggak ada suaranya, Devin.
Okay, can you hear me right now?
Okay.
Oh my God. So I have talked a lot and you didn't answer it. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm sorry, Mr. Adit. So before I let you to introduce what is Rolljak and um about the presentation today about what is innovation and design thinking. But first of all, I would like to share about iCommunity. So we have like new member every day. So I need to spread information about iCommunity first. Let me please. Okay. So, yep. Hello, everyone. Welcome to iCommunity again. Welcome to iCommunity Level Up Club. So, community is so Juanda Rufalim is a founder of iCommunity, but he is also a founder of Kafling Solusi Digital also, and he has certified trainer. Usually, he is a speaker for digital marketing. And that maybe you have a question about what is iCommunity. So we have a vision and mission. Our vision is being the world's largest community platform for entrepreneurs and professionals. And our mission is our mission are provide the entire community with access to entrepreneurs and professionals, bring entrepreneurs and professionals together to achieve a common goal. And the last one, creating more positive value in order to contribute to an improved business, professions, and society. Our tagline is share network, grow network. And we have a goal. The first goal is about connect with the iCommunity members on a friendly, collaborative, and mutually understanding level. The second one, growing the collaborative spirit. And the third one, creating positive value in a business and professional areas. And the last one, create a community platform for entrepreneurs and professionals to learn, grow, and improve their skills by providing learning resources, business matching, and referrals. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a guideline. So, as a community, we are not just community, but we are a platform community who has a guidelines. The first, we are as entrepreneur and professional who work hard, work smart, and collaborative. We prioritize the good value in iCommunity for doing business and collaboration with the member, but we don't put them as a target or put them in an unified competition. We realize that with networking, we'll gain the good values more so that we are ready to share connection and support each other. We'll have a good behave and on this community and doing all of the activities here based on good values. And the last one, if we lack or violate these guidelines, we are willing to be reminded, warned, and even got penalty. So that's all about iCommunity. Well, I will welcome you, Mr. Aditya Batura. Maybe you can tell us about what is Rolljak and what will you present today about what is innovation and design thinking. Okay, time is yours, Mr. Aditya.
Hey, hi, Bu Devintya. Thanks so much for the introduction. So, again, my name is Aditya, and I'm dialing in from Singapore. So, today I'm actually not going to spend so much time talking about what Rolljak is, because I will let you all experience it. But I want to talk about what really got me started in this whole journey, and why we actually built it, right? And along the way, I want to talk about words that we hear very often, right? Especially in this industry of tech and innovation and leadership, where we always discuss what innovate, we always talk about, oh, companies and people need to innovate, and we always need to keep designing new things. So we always hear these words. These are buzzwords of innovation, design thinking. And I just want to talk about the basics, right? I just want to talk about what those things actually mean and how those things are relevant to you, regardless of who you are. And through that whole process, I guess you will have a much better explanation or understanding of the whole purpose and the vision behind what we have built with Rolljak, right? So let me get started. So I just request someone to let the people who are coming in to just still let them keep joining.
Yes,
Okay,
we have.
thank you.
You can
Thanks.
present your
All right,
presentation.
so here we go. Thanks. So I'm going to talk about like my background and what got me started. So we are building Rolljak, and Rolljak is aiming to be the future of audience engagement, and we're trying to unlock new dimensions of how engagement and learning is done in all settings, regardless of whether you are in a school or a classroom or running meetings, presentations, or events. It's just about how we engage with each other and how we unlock future-ready learning and future-ready engagement skills, because the future of the world is about collaborative discussions and not so much about one-sided discussions or trying to get the answers right. So that's mainly the premise behind why we started building Rolljak. Now, a quick brief introduction about myself. So I am the co-founder and CEO of Rolljak, and my background is in software engineering. I hold a bunch of accolades in academia and education. So I hold an adjunct position at Singapore University of Technology and Design, where I primarily run corporate design thinking and innovation programs and technology programs. And along with that, I work closely. So our company works closely with Apple Education, where we run innovation programs that are embedded in the Apple ecosystem. So along with that, I also have run, these training programs around Southeast Asia. So we've done these with thousands of students, teachers, and corporate executives and leaders on many large scales and smaller scales, all the way down to like preschool levels to like leadership training and executive coaching. So my specialization is actually more in data driven or tech driven innovation, given my background in software engineering and my love for design thinking, and just providing the confluence of both those things, which is design thinking is really teaching you about what you should be building or what you should be solving, and computational thinking or coding or any technology skill gives you the how to solve it, right? So it's the what to solve meeting the how to solve it, and that is the confluence of these two skills, which I call design innovation. right? So that's a brief introduction about me. Now let me tell you about my journey in entrepreneurship. So as I and our co-founding team graduated from university in SUTD, we were really inspired to bring that entire philosophy of design innovation, meaning where computational thinking meets design thinking. We were really inspired to bring that out to the world. So we actually started running innovation-centered educational programs for kids, right? And we used to run these all around Singapore. As you can see, all these young minds are wearing our company T-shirts. So our company is called Kodomo, CODOMO, and that's this. This is really how we got started running these innovation programs around Singapore. Now, along with that, running these programs for kids, we actually were running it for large corporations as well, right? So we run these same skill sets and mindsets we try and inculcate on the corporate training level with a lot of with a lot of big companies that are Singapore government, state-owned enterprises, government bodies, and defense contractors and whatnot. So through this entire experience, we got inspired to actually start solving bigger problems, and that's what we did next. So we built this brand called Potato Pirates. Now why I want to tell you about what we've done is really because I want to explain to you the whole concept of how, when you have the right mission statement, and you stay true to the process of innovation, the end outcome always falls into place, right? So this was the first product that we built. So it's called Potato Pirates. It's a series of board games that teaches computer science without any computers. And we were trying to redesign computer education or computer science education with this brand of board games. And I had no intention of building board games when we got started. All we wanted to do was solve a problem, and we wanted to solve the problem of making computer science more accessible, because computer science is the lifeblood of modern life, but it's also very difficult to learn. And moreover, if a school wants to teach anything about coding or computer science or computational thinking, they have to invest heavily in technology. They have to make sure that every student has a laptop or some device. They have to have Wi-Fi. And of course, in Asia and in large parts of Asia, we don't have all these amenities. So that was what we wanted to solve. We had no intention, we had no idea what we wanted to build, and we had no intention of building games, right? But that's what we ended up building. So we ended up building a lot of games. So we have 3 games in our catalog now, and we build games that make computer science fun and engaging, right? And we do this without any computers. So that, in essence, is actually the innovation, right? So the innovation here is not involving any technology. It's just involving the mode of delivery, right? Where you can teach computer science education without any computers, right? And so I guess the thing I want to talk about here is that you don't actually need to innovation does not always need to involve cutting edge technology and machine learning and artificial intelligence. Innovation is all about solving people's problem, right? So what we see with Potato Pirates is that with just 1 hour of running a session of Potato Pirates, we can see that 9 out of 10 people actually learn the fundamental concepts of computer science without needing any computers. So these are non-computer aided programs that teach computer science education, right, in a game-based learning environment. Now, what we are really trying to do is unlock the barriers to computer science. So what you can see is on the left is how you write this, how you would type out the same instructions in different computer science languages, in different coding languages. And on the right, what you're seeing is how those same concepts appear in our games. Now, there's 2 concepts to teaching coding or computer science, which is syntax and logic, right? So the syntax is very complicated because it's like brackets and semicolons and all those things. So you need all of those things in place before anything, you want to run any instruction. So it becomes very difficult for people to learn, but the logic is very easy. So the logic of computer science is as simple as, speaking in English or Bahasa. If it's raining, take an umbrella, or else don't take an umbrella, right? So it's those kind of simple logic which anyone can understand. So all we did was split up that syntax and logic, and we got featured in all these big publications like New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Forbes, USA Today, Smithsonian Magazine. And we didn't pay for any of this, right? So this was all organic. So I had to find out from other people that we had been featured in all these places. Now, why I think that, we saw any of this, we saw any of this, media accolades or critical acclaim is really because we solved the problem, right? And design thinking and innovation, like I said, is all about solving problems. And when you solve the problems that you set out to solve, and you stay true to the process of innovation, the end outcome always works itself out, right? So we didn't intend to become like a globally recognized game, but we did, right? So we started out in 2016, and we have done 3 games since then. And the biggest thing that we've actually done in our existence as a company is actually Rolljak, which is our new product that has taken over 4 years of building and iteration and really trying to refine what we're trying to achieve, right? And Rolljak is a collaborative game-based learning platform. So I'll talk to you more about Rolljak as we go along, but now I want to switch gears and talk about why we actually need to learn design innovation. So again, for those of you who are just coming in, so design thinking and innovation are very commonly used terms, and I refer to it as design innovation, right? Just to keep it simple, but it means the same thing, all right? So if you're confused about what DI or design innovation is, it's design thinking and innovation. But more specifically, to me, design innovation is actually design thinking meeting computational thinking, which is knowing what to build and how to build it, right? To solve people's problems and make the world a better place. So why do we need to learn design innovation? Now, I just have a couple of things I want to show you about this. So what you're seeing on the left here is saying that 65% of primary school students, means students in schools today, are actually going to end up working jobs that don't exist, right? So a case in point here would be things like Web3, NFTs, cryptocurrency. 5 years ago, you and I were not talking about these things, right? But today it's the center of our lives, right? So we all talk about Web3 and the next crypto project and whatnot, and the next thing is now metaverse, right? So 5 years ago or 7 or 10 years ago, none of us would have been able to predict that this is what the world is going to be in 10 years time, and that's always the case. So what we are seeing now is that 65% of the kids in school are actually going to end up working jobs that don't even exist right now. So both you and I don't know how to prepare them for that, right? And on the right, what you're seeing is that anywhere between 40 to 60% of the world is going to become obsolete due to automation, right? Due to AI, machine learning, and automation. Now, so what's the most important thing right now is actually to keep relevant, right? So you have to stay relevant and stay important to the world, because if you and I and everyone on this call is at risk of being irrelevant or obsolete, then that's the most dangerous thing to be, right? If you're obsolete, you're redundant, and you can't really contribute to society. So this was a study done by the World Economic Forum in 2018. It's called the Future of Jobs Report. And in 2018, they did a study that said that these are the top 3 skills for the workforce in 2022. And now we are at the end of 2022, right? So this is an old study from 2018, right? And the top skills for 2022 that they predicted in 2018 was these 3 things on your screen. So it's innovation, active learning, and creativity, right? Why? Because machines are much smarter than us. So the only thing that we can be better at Is at being original, is at being creative, is at being innovative, right? So that's why like learning these skill sets of design innovation help you stay relevant. Now, why else do companies invest in innovation and invest in a design thinking centered culture is because of this other thing called the Design Value Index, right? So this was a 10-year study done by the Design Management Institute all the way from 2005 to 2015, and they published the study in 2016. And the Design Management Institute did this 10-year study that tracked the stock price of DVI companies, means which are design-centered or design value index companies, that or design-centered companies, and they tracked it against the S&P 500, which is basically the 500 most prominent companies in the world, right? So when they did this 10-year study, what they saw was over a 10-year period, you could see that the DVI companies or the design-centered companies were doing a factor of 200% better than the S&P 500, which is already the best that you can be in the world, right? So design works, and we can see that through these quantitative studies that have been done. So that's why companies invest in design thinking and innovation. So, and most importantly, like I said a couple of slides ago, is that we need to adapt to and steer changes. And that's what the next generation needs to learn about, how to adapt to the inevitable changes. And we are living in a time of accelerated change. Now, how we actually do that, how we actually teach people to adapt and steer changes is what we call the 4 C's of 21st century learning. And it's the reason why the 4 C's of 21st century learning, which is creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, and communication. Now, the reason why these 4 things are so important is because 21st century learning is not really about learning what to learn, it's about learning how to learn, right? I repeat that. It's not really about learning what to learn, it's about learning how to learn. Now, why am I saying that? Really, because if you want to learn anything, you can just go to YouTube and type it in and you can learn it, right? And it's really about learning how to learn. That defines whether you actually go to YouTube to learn something or watch videos about cats, right? So it's really a mindset, right? And the 4 C's of 21st century learning, which is creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, communication, these 4 C's are the center or the cornerstones of learning, future-ready mindsets of learning how to learn. So the era of the 4 C's is here. Now, how do we unlock this in any place? Well, that's what we've been trying to build. So Rolljak is trying to actually unlock the 4 C's of 21st century learning and unlock this design-centered or innovation-centered focus in any audience engagement setting, right? So I want to give you a quick warm-up. So since I've been talking for like 10 minutes already and I'm getting tired of talking, so let's do something more fun. Okay, so let me go back here. Just give me a second. That's very strange. All right, there we go. So please pull out your devices and scan this QR code.
Monggo Bapak Ibu bisa ikutan scan barcode-nya lewat HP Bapak Ibu masing-masing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there you go.
Or Adit, if you have any link, you can put it in the chat.
Yeah, let me do that as well. Yeah. So let me share the link with you. Very good. All right, so once you join, you'll be asked to draw yourself.
Bisa Pak, silahkan. Bisa klik linknya atau di barcode-nya.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can scan the QR code or join with the link. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. Now, I had two tabs open. I hope I clicked the right one. I just realized there's another tab. So I hope I clicked on the right one. Okay, so let's get started. Let's go and start. Yeah, okay, I'm so sorry. It looks like I have started the wrong session. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish all these activities. Then I'm gonna have to ask you to rejoin. Excuse me, my mistake for doing this. I'm gonna make sure that we finish the last one. Okay. All right, I'm so sorry. So I'm gonna have to ask you to rejoin. So
Okay.
I opened the wrong session accidentally. So please go ahead and rejoin. I'm gonna share the new link in the
Okay.
chat. I'm so sorry about that. All right, yeah, so please go ahead and join. I'm so sorry, this time I know it's the right one. All right, perfect. At least this time you know how to draw yourself already. Okay, we have 13 people now. We have 33 people on the call. So let me make sure I share the link in the chat. Oh, I've already done that. Okay, cool. Let's go. So this time for real, we have 15 people on the session with us. Okay, so we're starting with really fun, uh, a really fun activity, right? So now we are all in a falling elevator. So you are in a falling elevator and you have 3 random objects in front of you to choose which one are you going to use to try and survive the falling elevator. So you're in an elevator, it's falling, you have 10 seconds to make your choice. Choose an object to help you survive a falling elevator. All right. So now that you've chosen an object, so now is the fun and the difficult part. So you have to use this object to survive a falling elevator, and you have to draw out how you're going to use this object to survive the falling elevator. Okay. So it's a survival mode. Now you have 90 seconds to draw out how you're going to use the object you chose to survive a falling elevator. Good luck. Okay, so we have 40 seconds left. All right, last 20 seconds. So don't think too much about it. Below the sketch pad, there is a title box. Make sure you write a title for your sketch. Okay. And if you're done, please hit submit. Then you can cut sushis.
I like the cutting sushi time.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Everyone seems to love it. All right. So now what's going to happen is someone else's idea, someone else's sketching is going to show up on your screen and you have to make it better. Okay. So you have to add on to it and you have to make it better. Okay. So if you can't understand what they are trying to do, it's okay. It's open to your interpretation. So go ahead and mix it up, make it better. And you have 1 minute to do that. So all the best. Okay, last 25 seconds. For those who have joined in late, you can go to rolljak.me and here is the session code. So the session code is 99B7EF. You can join us. You can still join us. Okay, and we are done with the collaboration. Okay, so we're going to do that one more time. So we're going to be able to collaborate with someone else on this call anonymously and randomly. So on your screen right now is somebody else's response. So go ahead and make that better. All right. So 90 seconds on the clock. We have about 1 minute 15 left. I shall keep quiet and let you do your work. Okay, last 20 seconds. So please go ahead and submit if you have not. And make sure you give it a title. At the bottom of the sketchpad, there is a title box. So make sure you give it a title. All right. Okay, so the hard part is over. The hard work is now over. So now here comes the fun part. Now you get to evaluate other people's responses. Okay, so all of you get a budget of 1,000 coins, Rolljak coins, in your wallet, and you get to invest in the ideas that you like. All right. So you have 3 ideas in front of you, and sorry, 2, I think, and you get to invest. You get to invest money in the ideas that you like. So that bouncy thing that is on the bottom of your screen, you click that and then it will open up your wallet, and then you can invest money in ideas and go forward, and make sure you go through all the 3 ideas that are on your screen. All right, so about 30 seconds left. Last 5 seconds. So please make sure you submit. All right. Okay. So now you can sit back and see how you scored each other, right? So, and who got the most investment. So on my screen, you're going to see the top invested ideas from this activity. All right. So in first place, we have Surrender to God by Dana, right? With a flag. So Dana writes surrender to God on a falling elevator. So full disclosure, Dana is from Rolljak. Now in second place, we have Kara with potato, where she draws a whole meal, probably from McDonald's or something. So don't be hungry in a falling elevator, Tara. Thank you. I will remember that next time I'm in a falling elevator, that I should not be hungry. And then we have, I believe this is Azdi, firecracker, and Azdi is going to blow up the elevator. So I don't know how that helps, but but that's still quite funny. And let's look below what else we have. We have a rocket. So we have a broom and you fly away with it, right? We have a pair of gloves. We have a handbag. So I guess you try and, I can't really tell what's going on. So Devintya, this is yours. Yeah, tell me more about this one.
Oh my god, I don't know. You know, the handbag, a falling, and I put my handbag into, usually when
the gap, right?
Yeah, the gap, and
okay. Wow. Okay, so it's yeah. So you're gonna hang from it and survive.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, and we have microscopes, so you become really small or make friends with an amoeba. These are all quite funny. Maybe Delisa, I want to call on you and ask you what this is about. Delisa, are you there?
I think she has a lost connection, something.
Okay. No worries. So I have to say that the top 3, this activity is rigged because all the top 3 are actually from Rolljak, the Rolljak team. They're joining this call to listen. So it's not fair. It's not fair. Maybe we should not let them participate in the next one. Okay, but so stay on your phone or on your laptop. Make sure you don't close the Rolljak tab because we have a few more activities coming up. But I want to switch. I want to switch back to my slides and really talk about why we just did what we did, right? So the way we measure and the way we evaluate a good brainstorming or a good ideation session, right, is on these four things, right? These four things are quantity, quality, novelty, and diversity, right? So these four things are how we judge how good a brainstorming session or an ideation session is. Now, quantity means how many ideas you have in your session, right? So how many ideas did you come up with? So that's the quantity. The quality is how good your ideas are, right? The novelty means how new your ideas are, right? And diversity means how different they are, right? So how many, how good, how polished, right? How refined. Novelty means how new, and diverse means how different. So how broad, how much did you explore different ideas? Now, of these four things, right, which do you think is the most important? Just think about it. Think about which of these, quantity, quality, novelty, or diversity, which of these do you think is the most important? Type your answer in the chat, right? Type your answer in the chat. Which of these four things do you think is the most important? Quantity, quality, novelty, or diversity? So Bunbun says quality. Because we get quality, diversity, quality, diversity. Okay, what else? Keep your responses coming. Novelty, quality, quality. Okay, a lot of quality, a few diversity. I think we've seen one novelty so far, right? So again, quantity is how many, quality is how good, novelty is how new, diversity is how different, right? Or like how different is it from other ideas, right? So we have diversity, quality, novelty. Okay, so we have quite a few responses, and most of them are actually talking about quality, right? And I think that the second most popular is diversity, and then we have novelty. So no one actually said quantity. Now, all of you are right? But the real answer is actually quantity. Now, why is that? Because when you have quantity, you hit all the other three. If you have enough ideas, you will have some that are of good quality, some that are novel, and some that are diverse. Okay, so quantity determines all the others. Now, the more academic or scientific way to say it is that quality, novelty, and diversity is a function of quantity. Means once you have quantity of ideas or quantity of responses, then you will have all the other three, right? So the only way to have good ideas is by having many ideas, right? So, and that is the main takeaway from the activity that we just did, right? So in this activity that we just did, we have maybe 16 of us on the activity, right? And each of us contributed one idea of how to survive a falling elevator with a random object. And what we did was we collaborated 2 times, right? So whatever you see on my screen here is not what you originally did, right? So it's like new to you also. So it's novel, right? And it's diverse, right? Because we have explored a lot of different ideas, right? And some of these are of good quality. So we've hit quantity, quality, novelty, and diversity with this activity, right? So the only way to have good ideas is by having many ideas. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is collaboration and iteration, like what I just said. Like what you originally drew is not what you see over here on my screen, right? Because it's been collaborated and iterated upon 3 times. So once by you and 2 more times by other people. Now, through that collaboration and iteration, at each time then you do that, you see a new breath of life that is, brought into that idea. So it's a new perspective, right? And through collaboration and iteration, you can open up a lot of new dimensions of this, of those 4 things: quantity, quality, novelty, and diversity, right? And you can hit that. So I think I want to pause here and I want to address what's in the chat. So Arjo, you wrote, a lot of ideas can be convoluting, even disruptive. Agree. I agree. Now, that's why the next thing I'm going to talk about is divergence and convergence. Now, the hallmark of any good discussion or any good ideation is these two words. So, Arjo, what you said is very true, because when you have too many ideas, you don't really know where to put your focus. You're very right. But that's the divergence part, right? So that divergence part is where you need to get enough ideas. So the divergence is where you divert your mind and your attention, and you try and get as many different, novel, unique, new ideas. The convergence part is what we call down selection. So you need a very good way to find out what are the most promising ways to converge upon the most promising responses or ideas in an efficient way, right? Because if you have too many, then you don't know how, like you said, it becomes disruptive and you don't know where to focus. So divergence and convergence. And what we did with that voting, with the money that you invested in other people's ideas, that was the convergence, because through that we actually got some ideas that were more rated, better rated, right? So this one had 850 money raised. So this had 900 coins invested. This had 1100. So that is the convergent part of ideation. So any good brainstorming discussion, right, has two phases to it, which is divergence, where you get and gather and accept responses, and the convergence, where you find ways to down select to identify the most promising ones. Now, finally, all of us, like if I told you that, okay, so let's do this activity where you're trying to survive a falling elevator, you have 90 seconds, and based on how you do it, you will get promoted in your job, right? So if you don't do well, then you don't get promoted, right? Then obviously everyone will try to do their best, and you get stressed and you overthink it. Now, but in today's activity, we all know that it's a warm up and it's a fun exercise. So we're just free flowing with it. And what we're doing is we're playing, right? So in the activity that we just did, we were all playing. And when you play, you're bold. When you're bold, you put your best foot forward. When you put your best foot forward, that's where the magic happens, right? So that's where the magic happens in innovation, when you play and when you freestyle with it, right? So my last words before I move on to the next activity is, let's play, right? So try and inculcate this feeling, this mindset, this concept of play into your work, and it will just become very magical, and great things will just happen when you play. You're bold, and when you hold on to that concept or that playful spirit, and bring it into your work and bring it into different aspects of your life, you can see that you can unlock a lot of lateral thinking. You can unlock a lot of the basic building blocks of what it means to do innovation. And if you ask anyone on my team, I'm quite a joker, right? Even at work, right? So I think it's very important to hold on to that feeling of play, because work in general becomes very stressful for most people. So if you try and inculcate that feeling of play, it does wonders for you and for the people around you. All right. So now coming back to my question, right? What is design innovation? So I want to only ask you two more questions in today's talk, right? So, and those two questions are coming up. So now I want to try and deconstruct what design innovation means. Now, the next activity is very simple. So back on your phone or your laptop, we're going to start the next activity on Rolljak. And when we start the activity, you will have 3 boxes. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to write the first 3 words that come to your mind when I say design. Okay, the first 3 words that come to your mind when I say design. Okay, it's a very simple activity. So let's get started with the next one. So let's start the next activity. So on your phones right now, you will see this. You will see 3 boxes. So go ahead and write the first 3 words that come to your mind when I say the word design. So it's a word association game. So if you're stuck, just hit the refresh button. You will be brought to the right screen. Okay, last 30 seconds, so please make sure you submit. Don't think too much about it. It's just the first 3 words that come into your mind when I say design, right? It's a word association game, so we have only 6 people who have responded. So I'm giving you 15 extra seconds, so make sure you finish up. Okay, please hit submit. So last 10 seconds. All right. So now I just want you to evaluate each other's responses, right? So on your screen, you will have a slider, and you can slide your slider across, and you can basically evaluate responses based on how much you agree with what they've written, right? How much do you agree that that word is what design is? Thank you for sharing the game code again, Pawayudi. If anyone wants to rejoin the session, the code is in the chat. You can even scan this QR code. All right, so last 5 seconds, so please make sure you submit. All right. So now let's see what you all did. Okay. No, I don't know either, so let's find out. All right, so here's what we have. We have idea, we have make something, out of the box. We have design can be about creativity. Okay, so I'm going to say it's creativity. So creativity, make, creativity, original, idea. So it's about the typical of the complicated picture to make a building, road, so something. So I would say it's about making here, right? So I guess that's the key word. So planning, object, system, pattern, intriguing, creative, powerful. Okay, freelance job. Okay, Adobe, right? Something that escalate the beauty. Okay, form, beauty. Good. So we have a few about beauty. We have quite a few about creativity, idea, originality, right? So that's the kind of pulse of what we are getting from the people here in this room, right? So if I go to wordassociation.org and I type in design, these are the most common words that we get, which are closest related to design. So things like style, intelligent, create, art. So it's very graphic, right? But a lot of what we had on our on the responses here is more about originality, creativity, and ideas, right? So it's not quite making sense, right? Because this is not very much in line with what we wrote. So let's consult Google. So if I go to Google and go to Google Images and I search for design, these are the top search results for design, right? So my question to you is my question to you is this really design? Do you think that what you're seeing here on the screen is what design is? Share with me your response. Is it a yes or a no? Just write it in the chat. Do you think that this what we are seeing over here is design? So we have yes. We have yes. Okay, no and yes. Okay, playing it safe. Yeah, clearly I'm also trying to confuse you. So we have a couple of yeses, and I guess the rest of the people are being shy. So well, I think no and yes is also is definitely correct, and yes is also correct. Well, because this is just one facet of design. Now, if I give you the textbook explanation of what design is, so this is what what it would be, and it's very simple. So it's just three keywords, right? So design is user-centric, and it is universally applicable to any area of human experience. Now, what this means is design is user-centric means design is done for people, right? So a mouse is designed for a person, a pen, a water bottle, a phone is designed for people. Everything that is designed is designed for a user experience, a human experience. So therefore, design is universally applicable to all aspects of human experience, which means that design is everywhere. So anything that has a human experience involved to it, which is everything in the world, has an aspect of design to it. Correct? Right? So because design is done for people, and everything in the man-made world has an aspect of people using it, right, or experiencing it. Therefore, everything from the table you're sitting on, the chair you're sitting in, from the laptop you use to the mobile phone, to the mouse, to the water bottle, to the lights, to the TV, to the fridge, everything has an aspect of design, right? So yes, so is this design? Yes, it is, but it's only one facet of design, because design is about people, design is all around us, and design is what we can perceive with our senses, right? So that is really what design is. So design is about people, therefore it is all around us, right? And it's about what we can perceive with our senses. So what we can see, hear, feel, taste, and smell. Now, what you saw on the Google search is one aspect of design. Sorry, what is design, not innovation? So there's many different phases of design. So you can have communication design, what you were seeing more of, like, the style and the art and everything. There's product design, right? Product design, which could be for consumer electronics, right? Experience design, which is experiences of such as going into a museum, going into like a clinic, right? So all those things can be designed, all those experiences can be designed. And finally, system design, like your train systems, right? So there are many different types of design, and what we experience, usually the way we think of design is more of the visual, the communication design. Now I want to do the same thing with innovation. So what is innovation? So going back to our activity, our next activity, and this is either going to be the last or the second last, because I know I want to be mindful of time, right? So in the next activity, I want you to think of the same three things, the same three words for innovation, right? And please don't use the word design, okay? It doesn't work that way. So can't use the word design, but use any other word that you can associate with innovation. So if anyone wants to still participate and you have lost connection, this is the QR code. Okay, so we are done. All right. So again, we're going to evaluate each other's responses. Okay, so go ahead and evaluate so the responses that are on your screen based on, again, how much you agree with how much that word describes innovation. Yeah. All right, last 20 seconds. Okay, last 5 seconds, and we are done. All right, so let's see what everyone came up with. And I hope I don't see the word design, right? It's part of the rules. All right, so here's what we have. Okay, so we have new, we have creativity, new, out of the box, solve problem, a creativity to good life. We have inspiring. Yeah, I like inspiring. Something that is needed. So a new idea for problem solving. So new, I would say new. So new, breakthrough, creative, future, amazing, new, changes, useful, masterpiece, modern, brand new, original. Okay, better. Okay, good. So we have a lot of new, right? So now this time, if I go back here and let's look at wordassociation.org, this time it's a lot better. So it's a lot more about new and idea and technology and invention and creative. So a lot more aligned. Great. And you know, I do this so much that I already predicted that new would be the most commonly used word to describe innovation. So let me show you a few things that will make you question whether new actually equals to innovation. So my question is, does new always equal to innovation? Okay. So let's look at that. So let me show you a few things that you've probably never seen before. So they're new, right? Now I want you to tell me that, do you think that these things are innovation? Let me move to the next page. I actually like it better. So these are all different kinds of like drawers, right? So we have a grenade shaped, hand shaped. This is broken in the middle. This is a bed you become a part of, right? This is a house that stands on its chimney, right? So this is this is more fun. So look at this top left. The top left is where you can only sleep in the fetal position in this bed, right? In this bed, you can only sleep like a baby, right? The bottom right is my favorite. So this is rain boots, but they're slippers, right? So they are absolutely not waterproof, right? This is a watering can that waters itself. So it's quite useless, right? So, but it's new, right? Because you've probably never seen it before. So, the question is new always equal to innovation, right? So those pictures are mostly about creative approach to art. You mean these ones? Well, yes, you are right. So, but no, so new does not always equal to innovation. Yeah, so you're right that I mean, regardless of what you think it's representing, whether it's creative approach to art or abstract art or modern art or whatever it is. So I guess the question is that, does new always equal to innovation? And I think everyone can say that it's a no, right? Because most of these you don't think will be very innovative, right? So now the question is, what does innovation actually mean? So how do you actually describe what innovation is? Now, if you're going to remember anything from today's talk, remember these three words, okay? So these three words are very commonly used. So it's desirability, feasibility, and viability, all right? And if we were in the same room together, I would ask you to say it with me. So if you can unmute and say it with me, say desirability.
Disability,
Excellent, okay. Feasibility, say it with me.
feasibility,
Yes, and viability.
Viability.
Awesome. Okay, so good. Okay. So now what does this actually mean? What are these three words? So desirability means, do people want it? Feasibility means, can you build it? And viability is, can you sell it? So what about scalability? Yes, that is within viability. So viability means, can you build a robust business model around it? And that would encompass scalability. Okay. Now, the long form explanation of innovation would be, innovation is to address people's needs. So what do they want with something that you can build, which is technologically feasible, and devise a viable business strategy around it to derive value from the market, right? So that would be the essence of innovation. Now, what that means is, do people want it? Can you build it? Can you sell it? Now, scalability is within the viability model, right? So if you can sell it, like how much can you sell it, right? So are you limiting yourself to the market that is just around your community or your neighborhood, or are you on a global scale? Now, that is the viability aspect of it as well. Now, of these three things, which do you think is the most important? Is it desirability, feasibility, or viability? So type it in the chat. Which of these do you think is the most important?
Viability.
All right, viability, feasibility.
If we cannot sell, for what we use, you make it.
If you cannot sell, then why do you build it, right? Yeah, I agree with you. Exactly. Viability, desirability. Okay, cool. So a lot of I guess there's viability and feasibility and desire. So there's all opinions. So you are all right. If you can't sell it, then why build it, right? So, but why do most, so another desirability has just come in. So why do most products fail? It's not because there is no business model around it. It's because people don't want it. All right. So my last question for you is, what are the three best innovations of the 20th and 21st century? Okay, so this is my last question to you. And through this, I'm going to talk more about, I'm going to wrap up what innovation means, right, in today's context. Okay, so last question for tonight is, what are the top three innovations of the 20th and 21st century? So what that means is, from 1900 to 2022, right? So from 1900 to 2022, what are the top three innovations of the 20th century and the 21st century? Okay, so your answers on your screens, please. So just three top three innovations. Okay, we have some responses in the chat. I will cover them later also. All right, so last 30 seconds. So just make sure you submit. Okay, last 5 seconds. All right, done. Okay, so now what I want you to do is take the responses in front of you and just label them 1, 2, and 3. Like, which do you think is the top 3, right? So since everyone has input three responses, I want you to see what's on your screen and put a number 1, number 2, and number 3. So what do you think is the most is the best innovation from the 3 that you're given? So in the chat, we also have people writing about automation, internet, artificial intelligence, bullet trains, computer, metaverse. Very cool. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for all your inputs. I will be covering all of these. Yeah, don't worry. So just make sure you label the ones in front of you on your screen and give it a first, second, and third to identify which you think are the best. Drone, yeah, drone technology for sure. All right. And let's see what everyone came up with. So this is what we have. We have, so these were ranked as like number 3. So we have internet, humanoid robot, Rolljak, okay, color changing car. So technology in general, I guess, email, disruption. What else do we have? So we have smartphones, podcast, internet, smartphone, video call, mass production. And these were ranked as number 1. So Tesla means electric vehicles, so EVs, Zoom, so web conferencing, right? Buying online, so e-commerce, right? Wireless technology, and virtual friends. I guess that could also include metaverse, right? So yeah, and in the chat we have things like drone, metaverse, bullet trains, AI, internet, automation, and pretty much whatever has been already covered here. So now what I want to show you is this is the National Association of Engineering from the US. And these are, according to them, the greatest engineering or technological achievements of the 20th century. Okay, so this is the National Association of Engineering from the US. And these are, according to them, the greatest engineering achievements of the 20th century. It starts with number 1, electrification. All right, then we have automobile, airplane, blah, 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 blah. And where does internet come in? It's number 13. Okay, so now my question to you is, why do you think that, none of us wrote about any of those things that are, in the top 10? Well, I mean, maybe we wrote about computers, right? But that was the only one, right? That was the only one we wrote about. So why do you think that is? Why do you think that none of us actually wrote about any of the top 10? We focus more on smartphones and video conferencing and things like that. So what do you think? It's not new to us. Thank you. That captures exactly, the reason, right? It's the shortest way to say whatever I'm going to explain. Right? So I'm going to give you the long winded explanation, right? But Pak Bun Bun, you have captured it, which is, it's not new to us, right? What that means is, we are all born into a society that all these things exist, where airplanes exist, telephones exist, automobiles exist. Everyone's, houses are mostly electrified. So we have electricity, running water at home, right? And we don't really think that those things are innovation anymore, because we take it for granted, right? Because we were born into a society that had it. But you would not have any of the things that we wrote about, such as internet, web conferencing, metaverse, none of that, if we couldn't have mass scale electrification. And mass scale electrification only started at the start of 20th century. And there were 2 guys who were competing, which was Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, right? And basically Thomas Edison was the guy who set up the company General Electric, which is, which is still a publicly traded company today. And the first attempt at mass scale electrification, which the first city in the world to be mass scale electrified, was New York City. And it was a pretty big failure, because DC is not a good way to electrify in mass scale. So his apprentice, who was Nikola Tesla, was like, hey, why don't you try AC? And that's where AC current became, prevalent in mass scale electrification. So you wouldn't have any of these other things without electrification. Now, coming back to the previous question about what is innovation, right? Now, if new is not equal to innovation, and I asked you, out of desirability, feasibility, and viability, which of these are the most important? And I think we had differing opinions. Some people said desirability means, do people want it? Feasibility means, can you build it? And viability means, can you sell it, right? So now my last question to you, which we're not going to do on Rolljak, I just want you to think about it, is what is the difference between innovation and invention? Now, the key difference is actually that innovations are desirable. Innovation is invention does not always mean the other way around. Perfect. You're right. Innovation is an invention, but an invention cannot be, an invention is not always innovative. Yes, you're right. And what that main difference is that innovation is desirable, means innovation solves a problem for people, where invention can still be new. Like the things I showed you are inventions, right? You've never seen something like that before, so it's new, but it's not something that solves a problem for you. So until and unless it makes your life easier, it makes your life better, it is not an innovation. So whatever's written in the chat by Arjo is really good. It's innovation is invention does not always mean the other way around. And the reason being that inventions don't always solve a problem for people, right? And innovation has to start from that. So all innovations start from solving a problem for people and making their lives better. So about 10 or 15 years ago, none of us, yes, innovation makes invention usable. Yes, you're right. So thank you for all the really good, really good, comments that are coming out in the chat. Thank you. I really appreciate it. But like 10 years ago or 12 years ago, we had not heard of Grab, right? So Grab started as Grab Taxi in about 2011 or so. And now it's become such a big company, and it's really because it is solving a problem of accessibility to the things that we need in our daily lives, right? So that's just one example, right? So there's so many examples I can draw upon, and those things are innovations because they solve a problem for you, right? So whereas inventions usually fail because they don't actually make your life better, right? So all such open-ended questions start from solving a problem, right? And that's what design innovation does, right? So design innovation puts a framework around these perspectives, because if you are trying to solve a problem that is already known, so like when you go to school and you do homework, your teacher gives you homework, so you have a problem that is known and a solution that is known, and you have to just go from a known problem to a known solution. You just have to show you're working, right? You have to show your teacher you know how to solve the problem. Great. When you go into research, you have a known problem and an unknown solution. Now that's very difficult. But when you go into innovation, you have an unknown problem and an unknown solution. Now that becomes exponentially more difficult, because you have an unknown problem. You don't really know what the problem is, and you don't really know what the solution to solve that problem is either. That is why, people practice design thinking, because design thinking is a set of a framework that helps you to make sense of unknown, right? And helps you to navigate through this entire process that is actually very difficult to navigate through. So design innovation or design thinking is a set of frameworks that goes through different set of processes which are divergent and convergent, and it provides you a data-driven approach to solving problems that are very difficult to solve, right? So how it works is all problems start with an opportunity space, right? All problems start with what is it that you're trying to solve? And then you discover within that opportunity space how many ways you can gather information. So you talk to people, you conduct user interviews, you go online and you try and research, like, what really is the problem about this? People call this market research, right? But design thinking takes that a step further, where you actually talk to users, you talk to people, ask them like what their problems are and everything. So you gather more data and you try and refine or define that into an opportunity statement that becomes your guiding statement or your guiding star for going forward. and you try and iterate and develop different solutions, and you finally deliver it, and then you keep going in circles until you find something that's working. So overall, the whole reason why people practice design thinking and design innovation is really because it helps to make sense of things that are usually very difficult to navigate because of a large number of unknown factors when you're doing design, when you're doing innovation. So the last thing I want to say is, when you're doing innovation, you're going beyond the scope of human knowledge. So everything that's been done in the world is known, right? When you're trying to do innovation, you're trying to create something that's never been created before. So you're going beyond the entire scope of human knowledge. And that's very difficult. So when you're doing that, there is a framework that exists to help you make sense of going beyond the scope of human knowledge. And that's what we call design thinking, right? So this is where I want to end my talk. And what we are trying to do with Rolljak is try and introduce this framework of how open-ended discussions and innovation-centered discussions are done. And we are trying to introduce that in a very accessible game-based learning environment, right? So if you're interested to find out more, you are welcome to go to www.rolljak.com and find out more about what we're building. We have people from our Indonesia team here tonight as well on the call. So if you are interested to find out more about what we're doing in Indonesia as well, you are welcome to connect with them as well. So thank you so much for your presence here, and I'm happy to take questions if there are any. And if not, these are my details. I'm happy to get in touch with you via email. I'll even drop my LinkedIn in the chat so we can stay connected. Thank you so much for your attention. And yeah, please, if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them right now.
Wow, amazing. Wow, it's so interesting. I feel like I opened my mind, like, whoa, there are so many ideas to make. Okay, well, so there's a question in the chat box, and there's one person who raised her hand. I see Mrs. Effie who raised her hand actually. Mr. Effie, do you wanna come first to ask your question? Bu Effie boleh boleh tadi angkat tangan? Tadi angkat tangan? Okay, while waiting, maybe we can answer the question from Mr. Arjo.
Yes.
In the chat box. In a world where a handful of people control most economic resources, how does ideation or collaborative by the outsiders even out? Zero-sum game, do we even need to even out? Since those handful of people that control all economic resources have much of the upper hand.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to make sure I understand this correct. So you're asking that in a world where most of the economic resources are controlled by the few, right? How does ideation or collaboration by outsiders even out? So I'm not sure what you mean exactly by even out, but my interpretation of this is like, how do we even stand a chance to get to actually do something meaningful when most of the resources are controlled by the few? If I'm understanding your question correctly. Now, I completely agree with you. The world, capitalism, means wealth flows to the top, and sadly, that's the truth about capitalism. So I think the way innovation works is, especially in the world where we live in today, where anyone sitting in their bedroom can build anything that they want, right? Especially when it comes to software. So it's really about finding the right problems to solve. And if you can actually do that, then there's a lot of tools and resources available to you to get started. So when it comes to resources, like, of course, capital is a very important resource. In this day and age, it's a lot more accessible to get capital through, of course, like venture capital and other funding sources. But more importantly, the internet, the world has actually made making raising capital on the internet a lot better through things like crowdfunding, right? And I would know this because we are Singapore's arguably most successful crowdfunding campaign from Kickstarter, right? That's how I got started as an entrepreneur, right? So we didn't raise venture capital, we raised capital from people who believed in what we were building, right? And because I think that we were solving a problem that a lot of people wanted to see solved, right? And given that there's a lot of resource out there, it's really just about building the right narrative and solving the right problems in order to actually achieve what you're setting out to achieve. I hope I have answered your question, but basically, I think technology together with the right mindsets has democratized opportunity for everyone. And that's what excites me about innovation.
Okay, so how Mr. Arjo? Do you like the answer? Okay. Maybe one more question because actually it's almost 9 p.m. here. So actually we need to say goodbye actually. It's so sad. But I do really like your presentation and your games makes us so it is a game that can open our mind, you know. I like. I think we like it.
You
Thank
can
you.
use this in UNESA, the Rolljak. Devin is like Devin is the apa Devin?
Public relations.
Public relation
Oh, very cool.
in university, yeah.
Yeah, in a state university of Surabaya.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah, actually, and maybe we can use it to the students. You know, students more. Maybe they have so many innovations.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we should definitely like consider that. I would love to get connected with you as well through Payuanda.
So, oh, one more question about Mr. Arjo. So, in Singapore context where there are no natural resources, forcing to import from other countries, how does ideation solve energy crisis when these other countries stop selling?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you're right. Oh, very nice. And we have a distinguished lecturer from Ubaya as well. Very cool. So let me take that question. So how does ideation solve energy crisis when other countries stop selling? That's a very good question. So just last Sunday, I met one of my friends who holds patents in hydrogen production. Now, so 85% or is it 95% of um, the energy from Singapore actually comes from natural gas, right? From liquefied natural gas, so from LNG, right? And what's happening now is they're actually trying to find more renewable sources of energy that are self-reliant. And the problem is that LNG is not very easy to produce in a controlled environment. So what one of my friends is doing at the National University of Singapore is actually creating solidified natural gas, which is never heard of before. And it's a very different state of matter that actually allows you to produce large volumes of it in a lab environment, which may possibly make Singapore more energy efficient in the future and possibly completely energy independent. So I think that that's just one example of it. The other thing that I want to point out is that Singapore has no landmass, right? And we have a lot of sunlight. So it's very difficult for us to capitalize on solar energy because of the low land area. And when ideation is done right, I think there's a lot of cool things that are happening in solar tech as well. In Singapore, we are trying to find out how best to use building facades, right? Because we have a lot of high-rise buildings, and we are looking at how best to use the outer edges of or the outer perimeter of the building facades to actually harness more solar energy. So I think I think innovation and ideation and problem framing is very important in solving the problems of today and building the solutions of tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think that's the last question, Mr. Arja. I'm so sorry that we need to close our meeting today. But before of that, as usual, I will introduce about iCommunity again. May I, Mr. Aditya,
Of
before
course,
we
please.
close our meeting? Okay. So, what if you have the cheapest and the easiest to develop networking at business turnover? Have you ever experienced this problem, like you don't have the right network, how to find new business partner, run out of the list, you don't know how to start a communication business with the partner or professional, confused to develop your business in Indonesia? If you have this problem, don't worry. And maybe you have followed some like joining motivational seminar, joining workshop class, but you still have no solutions about it. So I will introduce you iCommunity.id as a community and a platform digital for entrepreneurs and professionals. Here you can have interaction and collaboration to develop their business. Three reasons why you should join us. The first one, valuable community, because we have access of networking, learning, and contributing. And benefit number two is quality leads, because we lead to new customer, leads to new reseller, and customer retention. And the last one, of course, low cost, because no need advertisement fee, word of mouth, and full of content. uh, these are our programs in iCommunity. Like I said before, we are not just community, not just only iCommunity, but we are a platform community that have so many programs for all of the member here. So how to grow your business with iCommunity? Of course, at first all, we will meet at ILC like today, and then we have a small meeting in iCommunity business matching. And if we have some similarity and we need to have a collaboration, we will go to iCommunity one-on-one meeting, and so that iCommunity for a business, and here you are, your profit. Okay, this is iCommunity business matching. We can do it by online or offline. Don't worry if we will go to your city, we will go to your country, not only in Indonesia, not only in Surabaya, Tangerang, Jakarta, but we can go to Malaysia, Singapore, and another country. So don't forget to follow our social media. We have Instagram, and we have YouTube also. So our meeting today will be uploaded in YouTube. Okay, that's all. Thank you, Mr. Aditya, for today.
You're welcome.
Okay, I hope that we can take a photo before you leave. Maybe Bapak Ibu bisa menyalakan videonya ya. So, yes, yep.
Okay, after this, I will introduce Adit with Pak Yahya. Pak Yahya is the one you have to tap in, yeah, if you want to enter Indonesian market.
I will be going to Singapore next Sunday.
Oh, it'll be my pleasure. It'll be my pleasure to meet you here, Pa. Yeah.
Okay. If we have time, we can make a date
Yes, please.
somewhere around Orchard. All right.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Because I'm assisting I'm assisting one company to open office in Singapore.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
All right.
Okay, let's take a picture first, and then we can do some free discussion.
Sure.
Okay, please open your camera and 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for today's meeting, Mr. Aditya. Hope that we can meet
Thank you.
again and
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
can enjoy your presentation again.
Yeah.
Devi,
You,
Devi,
you,
Pak Juanda,
yeah.
any gift for the sweetest smile?
Yeah.
For the
Yeah,
sweetest smile.
Pak Yaya is the chairman of CEO Business Forum in Indonesia. So he know he have a great connection to Indonesian stakeholders.
And also many embassies in overseas embassies.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you,
you.
Aditya, thank
for
you.
attending my talk today. I'm very honored that you came.
Yeah, I will give your contact to Pak Yaya.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Nice
you.
you
meeting
semua.
you. Nice to know you. Good presentation, very good presentation.
Thank you.
Inspiring.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank
Thank you.
Because
Thank you
last
semua.
week I
Saya
visited
Enol ya.
to University of Cipudra and I saw so many innovation ideas from the student and supported by Apple.
Yeah.
One floor supported by Apple. One